Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode of That's a Wrap. My name is Austin Jameson, and joining me today is...
Anthony Gentry. Hello.
Yeah, so we had an off week.
Not our fault.
Not our fault. Infamously, the power of the theater we were watching the movie in went off before the movie even started.
Yeah.
So,
and that was the only day we were both able to see it.
So we will still talk about D&D on the show.
Eventually. We
just need to find time to see it, and then on the episode after we see it, we'll talk about it. Yeah, I'm not sure if we'll call it a double feature. We probably will, but it depends on what else we're seeing.
I think if we're able to do it next week, or the week after,
but it's coming in the near future. I will not let D&D leave theaters.
Yeah, I really want to see D&D and review it.
So that is still on the agenda. But for today, what the power didn't go out for is the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So we'll be reviewing that. But first, we do have a couple of trailers to get through.
And the weekly
Ted Lasso.
I got 2 episodes to talk about, so buckle in. For Last of Us, we did 7 minutes. I'm doing 14 for this. This deserves double the time.
3, 2, 1.
So,
time's up, actually.
Man. No, this show is just so good. I don't want to say anything because I know you haven't watched it, and you probably never will.
I will.
But you will?
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. But
I want to. There's so many things I want to watch.
It is so good. And these past 2 episodes, specifically last week's episode 4, it does things that, like, I knew it had to happen, and it was hard to watch, but it was good to watch, and I loved it because they're leading up to something big, and I can't wait to see that. And I just love the character work for everyone in this show because they take someone who's like this douchebag and makes him lovable, or they like redeem them somehow, some way. And they keep doing that, or they take someone you love and show, oh, they may not be perfect, and that's okay, or maybe they're not perfect and that's not okay, and we need to address it. And it covers all its bases, and this show is just great. We can move on. Tune in for next week for tonight's episode.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and start with a kind of smaller trailer that kind of snuck out recently with Charlie Day.
His first directorial effort.
Yeah, famously known for his roles in the Super Mario Bros. movie as
Pacific
Luigi.
Rim.
Pacific Rim 1 and 2.
Yeah, I don't think he's been in any TV shows.
Probably not. He's not a big TV guy.
No.
But we have Fool's Paradise is the name of the movie, and the whole gimmick is Charlie Day's character is
Buster Keaton.
Essentially, he cannot talk and he doesn't really understand. I think he's completely doesn't understand language.
I saw a short synopsis, and it's this guy who was in an accident that left him without his understanding of the world and ability to speak.
Right.
So yeah, and it's about him basically becoming this huge movie star just out of pure luck.
Yeah, it's very much like, it doesn't seem like it has a super concrete story. Yeah. It looks like it's just like a comedy bit.
Have you seen the movie Dave?
No, I have not.
It reminds me of that. And that movie was really good. It's about a dude who's like this down on his luck guy, but it just so happens that he looks like the president of the United States. And the president is in a coma, but they don't want to tell anyone, so they have Dave pretend to be the president. But it's actually really good. And it looks like they're doing this, only this time he can't talk.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like a kind of stock comedy movie.
It kind of does.
There was a lot of cameos from It's Always Sunny. I don't really get the connection there when Charlie Day wasn't even in that show. It's kind of weird.
I know, yeah.
But like, it doesn't look bad.
One of them, to be fair, is his wife.
That is true. Yeah. That's probably how he got the role in the first place.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm completely retconning that. This bit is over.
It is.
Okay. Anyways, they're both very talented people.
I think this movie has potential. I don't think the trailer gave it that potential.
Yeah.
Like you said, it just looks like a stock comedy. And doing a sort of Buster Keaton-like movie today with today's sensibilities, I'm not sure if that would work because dialogue is such a big part of comedies today.
Yeah, it is.
That even just physical comedy, for a lot of things, it can just be one note, or it can get boring after a while. Like, oh, haha, let's have him fall. So I'm a little worried about that, but I do have hope in Charlie Day, just from like the episodes of It's Always Sunny that he's directed.
Yeah.
He does a great job with that, so I'm hoping that translates to the big screen.
It definitely has potential. It just did nothing really jumped out to me.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about an even more exciting trailer. Peter Pan and Wendy, the new live action, one of many. Also in recent news for Disney, Moana is getting a live action.
It's not even 10 years old.
It's not even a decade old. 2016, right?
Yeah.
So,
and they say The Rock is coming back, but I never know how to pronounce her name, but I forget her last name.
The actress who voices Moana.
Yeah. She, I guess, is not going to be in it, but she's going to executive produce it.
What?
Which is like,
what?
Come on, like she's still super young,
right?
Like she can still be Moana. She's like 20, and there's 30-year-olds who play 16-year-olds, so it's fine. Excuse me.
What do you mean? Excuse me? We all saw Dear Evan Hansen,
and it was perfect.
It was not. Yeah. Anyways, Moana aside, is another live action. It's Peter Pan. And it looks so dull, man. It looks so boring.
That's her last name. But anyway,
like the appeal of Peter Pan is like the magic of it, right? And it's like the joy and wonder. And it's like, here's a super gritty early industrial revolution setting where everybody's covered in like grit and dust, and it's like there's no color here.
After I watched this trailer, I listened back to what we talked about the first trailer. And we kind of had this discussion about the gritty, and I said what?
Nothing.
You mean the mascot?
No, you said gritty, and it just made me think of the hit viral
mascot? Gritty?
No, like the dance.
Oh. Gritty.
All right.
And you didn't like it. I liked how it just looked grounded and naturalistic.
It's stupid.
And
that's not what I want.
I do like the aesthetic of it, but like you said, it does still feel bland. Because I was hoping when we get to Neverland that it would just pop more, because that would it would just show the stark difference between the realism and the magical elements of it.
Right.
And then we got to like Captain Hook's ship, and it's just brown.
It's so boring. Captain Hook is
speaking of Captain Hook, when Jude Law was like, I'm gonna be Captain Hook, I was like, that could be interesting. Like Jude Law getting a little bit out of his comfort zone. But in this, it's like,
actor.
Hey guys, look, I'm Jude Law. And I'm like, no, I want to see Captain Hook, not Jude Law. And he based on what little we got, he's not selling me on Captain Hook. Hopefully that'll change in the actual movie, but I don't have much faith.
I don't think it will. I think they're clearly not going or trying to capture the essence of Peter Pan. And like, sure, if you want to make some weird, serious, grounded movie about Peter Pan, then sure.
Do you think they're going to do anything with his shadow?
I don't even know. Like,
yeah.
The fact that Hook doesn't look anything like Hook besides his hook and a mustache, like the signature big red like suit and the big red hat or anything, and it's just some old like English warlord like Navy admiral. I don't know what it's called. It looks so boring, and it looks like it looks like a parody, like a serious parody of Peter Pan.
It was also the look of Hook, like you said. This whole movie has this like grounded look, but then when he came in, it looks like a stage costume.
It doesn't. I don't even think so. I think it just looks
like the hook just looks super fake. And I know like it's not an actual hook connected to his body.
No, they cut off Jude Law's man for this.
But it was like I can just tell he's like holding a hook in his hand, and they didn't do anything with it. Or
I don't know. This movie's not going to do well. It's
Disney Plus.
It's Disney Plus fodder is what it is, and I don't know. It makes me frustrated. Like, I think I'm reaching a boiling point with sequels and like reimaginings and like just we're running out of original ideas, and it's. I
don't think we're running out of original ideas. It's just they're not getting
fair.
made.
That's fair. and that's incredibly frustrating.
Or they are getting made, but on a lower scale
Mm-hmm.
and with lower publicity. Like or Fool's Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago, that could be like a big studio movie. But now it's the small like Lionsgate roadside attraction movie that's probably not going to get a lot of business.
Yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating, but it's just kind of like the climate of Hollywood right now.
Yeah.
And success comes in familiarity, and that's it.
That might change soon with all these superhero movies not doing well.
Well, we can only wait and see. Well, it's not a super good transition because that's going to come later. But let's go ahead and move on to our next trailer.
I hope they whip up something good.
Whip up something.
Speaking of whips,
where are you going?
Indiana Jones or
we're doing Ahsoka next.
Ahsoka. I hope they lightsaber something good. I hope that they can't keep forcing out bad content. I
can't imagine anybody no, this is terrible. Okay, let's. The Ahsoka trailer came out for the new series, and it's in the like Mandoverse is what some people are calling it and whatnot.
Austin,
yeah,
you watched Rebels.
I've watched all Clone Wars. I've watched all Rebels.
I have not.
Mm-hmm.
I did not understand anything.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean
that's one of the good things I have to say about this trailer is that like nobody there's a. I think there's a majority of people like Rebels. I think it's kind of made out to be the like enemy, but I don't think anybody actually feels that way. Because Rebels is honestly very, very solid. And the amount of lore from Rebels that they leaned into with this, it was amazing to me. Like it was super exciting. Rebels was really good at like their characters and the world they built around them, while still like. Because it didn't feel like a Skywalker story.
I know I'm not super familiar with the character, but Thrawn is going to be in this.
Yes, and that like I believe it's the same voice actor who played him in the show.
I do want to watch the shows. I just need to find the time because they are long.
It is, yeah. It's an undertaking. But this trailer, like, I haven't watched like any of Mando season 3. Like a little bit of the first episode. I want to watch more, but it's like. I'm just burnt out on any modern Star Wars.
Yeah, me too.
And this trailer is probably the most excited I've been for a while, but that's not a very high bar.
This didn't really get me excited just because I haven't seen the animated shows.
Yeah.
It just felt weird seeing Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. Not because she'll be bad or anything. I'm sure she'll kill it. But just because what little I've seen of Clone Wars, it was when Ahsoka was a teenager.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, fair. Whoa, you are all grown up now.
Yeah.
And this like warrior when you were just a Padawan when I saw you.
I think they're going to do it well. It seems like they're leaning into the actual material that people want to see.
Did you hear about the upcoming Star Wars movie that's going to like tie all this together?
No.
It's Dave Filoni directing it.
I'm not going to get excited about a Star Wars movie anymore. Like I want to, but I'll just wait until it gets closer and then maybe, but even before it was the sequels and that had its own issues, but now even with the Mando like where people were like, this is the renaissance of Star Wars. And
then Book of Boba Fett.
And then it's been downhill.
Obi-Wan was too short.
Obi-Wan was a lot of things.
That should have just had a few more episodes to flesh everything out.
I don't even know if that was the specific problem with it. I think I don't know.
That's fair.
For another time.
Yeah.
But it looks all right. I want to watch it. The trailer for Ahsoka has made me want to go and watch Mando season 3 because I know they're gonna try and tie it in some way.
They are.
And
did you hear about the most recent episode?
No.
I won't say it then.
Okay. Or I don't know what you're gonna talk, but I've heard a few things.
It was just an
Cameos?
appearance. Yeah, the cameos.
Yeah. I feel like those are spread very quickly. But yeah, I don't know. It's all right. It's Star Wars now. That's another big franchise.
I mean, there's always been like big actors appearing in the Star Wars stuff since the prequel trilogy. So I'm not.
I wasn't even talking about that. I was just talking about Ahsoka in general.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to something whip. Indiana Jones 5. The Dial of Destiny.
Yes.
I've not seen the other Indiana Jones, so I'll let you take this segment.
I watched all the Indiana Jones a few months ago, and I loved them. Even the fourth one, it wasn't great, but it still had moments of that magic, and it was fun. And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I really liked this trailer. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure about the de-aging effect, but I think how they are going to utilize it is going to be so cool. I've seen some things about oh, this is what they're doing with it, and I kind of wish I hadn't seen that, but it excites me a lot. And I love how Mads Mikkelsen is going to be a villain in this.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed just like a perfect pairing. Harrison Ford, for so long, he has just been going through the motions in so many of his movies. And I feel like Blade Runner 2049 kind of brought him back. Yeah. And then he went away for a little bit, and then he's been Shrinking, which that show is really good too. He's great in it.
Mm-hmm.
And now this, he just seems rejuvenated. And he believes in movies again, and it's just so cool to see.
Yeah.
And the action scenes, they look just fun and engaging, and some of it is a little goofy, but that's what comes with a lot of Indiana Jones. And I think it just looks great. And James Mangold as the director, great choice.
Yeah. I've not seen the other Indiana Jones movies, but the trailer looks fairly good. I don't know what I'm really signing up for, or what I don't know what I want from the movie, because I don't have an expectation set already. I would want just a fun adventure themed journey, and it seems like that's what I'm gonna get. At the same time, though, the writing seems pretty black and white, and
What do you mean by that?
Well, they're very clear, let me phrase this in a way, because this is make or break how you say this. Or Mads Mikkelsen's character, they are very clear that he is both a Nazi and a bad guy. Mm-hmm. That moment I liked in the trailer. Or whenever he was defending Hitler or something.
Yeah.
That was okay, this guy's the bad guy. I guess I'm not as very clear as anybody who isn't Indiana Jones, because I just don't know any of their connections or characters. Because one of the characters locks Indiana Jones in a cage and betrays him or something, and then another character is.
Are you talking about the goddaughter?
Yeah.
I think that was because I think in the beginning he doesn't want to go on the mission, and she does, and then she just takes it and runs, or locks him so he doesn't stop her. Yeah. I think that's what it was. I will say a lot of the Indiana Jones movies have characters who are good and then turn bad, or the opposite. And so I was fine with it. There were a few, not even a few, one returning character who was the Indiana Jones.
Yeah, gotcha.
He's just a good guy through and through. He's great.
That's cool.
But some of the others, I like that aspect of you don't know who's going to be on Indy's side or not. They all have their own motivations. I like that part of it.
Yeah. Overall, it looks good. I don't really have much more to say.
Do you think you'll watch the others before this?
I'll try. It comes out in the summer, right?
Yeah.
I'll try.
Good thing about them, they're all around 2 hours. The first three are shorter than 2 hours.
That's nice.
Yeah.
How considerate.
I know.
It's Spielberg, right?
Do you know how long this one is?
Who directed them? Right?
Spielberg.
Okay, that's what I thought.
You know how long this one is?
Probably 2.5, man. I don't know.
2:20.
I guess. That's how long Everything Everywhere All at Once is. So
yeah.
I'll take it. Let's go ahead and talk about our next trailer, which is our... One second. Let me go ahead.
Ooh, it's the good one. It's the fun one.
It is the good one. That has... I wouldn't say it's breaking the internet, but it's the talk of the town right now. And of course, we're talking about Barbie.
Yes.
The movie that is happening, and you can't do anything about it. And you shouldn't want to either. The trailer finally dropped for it, and it looks everything I expect it to be. Visually and just aesthetically, this movie is hitting the marks for Barbie. Yes. Both in costume and set dressing. I don't know. I'm going to see it. I'm sure everybody I know is going to see it.
it's attacking Barbie head on.
Mhm.
It's not like pulling back anything. It's not doing it with a wink to be like, oh, haha, we're doing Barbie, but isn't this goofy? It's like, no, we're doing Barbie and we're doing it right.
Yeah, they're fully 100% leaning into what makes Barbie Barbie and just like playing with the whole doll toy concept. And
I love that, like the Barbies and Kens. Like this Barbie is a doctor. This Barbie is a Supreme Court justice. It's just Ken.
Yeah.
Did you see the poster for Michael Cera?
Yeah, I did.
There's only one Alan.
I don't know. It's truly left me speechless.
Yeah.
And I think Barbie is either going to be a fantastic success or it's going to flop majorly.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to do well.
I trust Greta Gerwig.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And when the first trailer came out, I said I feel vindicated because I put this in my top 10 most anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
And now I don't because I should have put it higher.
Yeah.
This movie, it looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure they're gonna do an elf type thing where you're in Barbie world.
Yeah. Well, they also tease Wizards of Oz multiple times throughout the trailer.
Do. Yeah.
So,
I heard complaints about the beach off scene. Yeah, they're like, oh, that's bad writing, or they're not delivering it right. If this was like Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill or something, they would have delivered it. Or just
that's just like one like 21 Jump Street fan who was like,
well, it was two comedy actors. I don't know who, and I was like, no, this is really funny.
It was done well.
I thought it was too. It looked just so good, so fun.
Yeah, and
with like, I don't want to say an auteur director, but Greta Gerwig basically is now, even though she's only done 2 films, and she is gonna nail this. I can just tell. And she's writing it with Noah Baumbach with Marriage Story.
Yeah,
that's gonna be fun.
It
Ryan
looks like
Gosling
a good time.
as Ken is just perfect. So is Margot Robbie. That is. I can't wait for this movie.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can. I think it's gonna be
so
a really good time.
The pink just pops anyway.
Yeah, it's gonna be good for sure. Well, check back in
Hopefully.
a couple months. Okay, one more trailer to talk about. Of course, it's in our nature to save the Marvel for last.
Yeah.
We have, of course, The Marvels. The trailer dropped very
Marvel
recently.
presents The Marvels.
It doesn't get more confusing than this, ladies and gentlemen, so let's go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah.
So we got 3 different crossovers in this one. We have Miss Marvel from the show, Kamala Khan. We have Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. And then we have Monica Rambeau from WandaVision.
I do want to say, the hate for Brie Larson is so dumb. Like, it just feels unwarranted. Because I just know she got a lot of it for the Captain Marvel. And I think it's probably going to happen again with the Marvels. And that is super unwarranted. Don't attack the person. You can dislike the movie, but don't attack the person.
Anthony, what did you think about this trailer?
This is hard.
Is it?
The trailer itself, I thought was a little bit interesting. And then it just felt like basic Marvel again. The shot that really undersold me was when Rambeau switched with Captain Marvel, and she got like ambushed by that like tribe of people. Right. And I was like, this is Ant-Man 3. This is when Ant-Man and Cassie get bombarded by those people. And I'm like, I really don't want them to make this like this joke fest. I think it's really interesting to have the problem be every time we use our powers, we like switch places. Right. But then at the end of the trailer, you see them all use their powers against the big bad and not switch places. And I was like, that would have been such a cool fight scene to have them all switch and use their powers, but they're not doing that. Sorry, you can go.
Okay. It doesn't look very good. I'm gonna be real. This movie, like the gimmick is neat on paper, but it isn't going to work very well especially for a narrative. Granted, if you can call Marvel movies narrative anymore.
It's from the director of Candyman, which
like the new Candyman.
The new one.
The new Candyman wasn't that good, though.
I liked it.
It wasn't that good.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't remember liking it that much. But that being said, I just don't like it anymore. Like there's no charm to it. It's I don't know if it's us or if it's them just like
It's not you or it's me.
I don't know. It just feels like everything is running over and over again, and it's like looping.
It's them. It is definitely them.
But what if I don't like
correct.
stupid superhero movies anymore? Like if I go back and I watch Avengers, am I gonna like it anymore?
By the way, there was another Marvel trailer that I even forgot about, Secret Invasion.
Oh,
Even that,
I
it's
didn't
like,
watch it.
man, I don't know.
mm-hmm.
That trailer was just it was fine, but I don't know, this movie, I feel like it does have potential,
Mm-hmm.
but just the Marvel
Yeah.
bland of how it's been recently.
It's just the fatigue of it all.
It is very a fatigue. And there wouldn't be a fatigue if they just didn't keep doing the same things or just keep playing it safe.
I mean,
But I
they
love
really playing it safe. Like even their new. I guess Shang-Chi was really good.
I guess Multiverse of Madness was like a risk a little bit, but
I don't know. I don't even know how to define it anymore for myself. It's
Yeah.
just disappointing.
I do love Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel
Mm-hmm.
and Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. I think she did a terrific job in the
Mhm.
first one, and like all her other appearances. I like the first one. It's not the best Marvel movie,
Yeah.
but I mean, I guess considering how it is now, it's one of the better ones.
Yeah.
But I do have hope because it seems like the three of them have really great chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
and just like seeing them all at Kamala's house talking
Yeah.
to the parents, I was like, yes, they're back.
The
The family's back.
That's my one note probably is that it does feel like, at least from Miss Marvel, which is I think the last Marvel show I watched since I didn't watch She-Hulk.
Mhm.
It felt like it was honoring those characters in that
Yeah,
story
it
well.
did.
Like it felt like a continuation of Miss Marvel's story. I don't really get where Captain Marvel or Monica Rambeau come into this really. So it's
I'm
gonna
excited
be
to get more of
weird.
Monica.
I
because
agree.
we did get a lot of her in WandaVision, but we didn't get a lot of her superhero.
Yeah, it was all just jam packed in the last episode. And
In
then
the
it was just
last episode,
Wanda,
yeah.
like fighting.
So
Agatha.
I'm excited to get more of her and see how her like power set is gonna be used.
right.
Yeah, I think this does have a potential. I'm excited to see these three leads do this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they can be great together.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're just having fun, which is kind of what I want with this.
I don't know if I agree with that. It looks. I don't know. There's just like there's a style. There's like a certain kind of musk that comes with Marvel movies now, and like you see people parody it online, and there's such a formula to how Marvel characters speak and act. And
Yeah.
I think Miss Marvel is probably pretty far from that because her actress puts so much work into
And she
like,
knows Marvel
that
so well
personality.
too.
Yeah. I don't know. It all feels like cookie cutter movies and cookie cutter acting and cookie cutter dialogue, and like I'm sure I'm gonna go into this movie and just like Ant-Man and just like Doctor Strange was insane, but
I don't think it's
like-
cookie cutter acting. I think it's direction.
I guess
But-
so. I don't know. It's all. I think it ultimately lies in the storytelling, or
Yeah.
lack thereof. Really, where it's
That's
just like
fair.
because the fact that this movie, I have no idea what this movie is about really. Besides them swapping places when they use powers,
Yeah.
and it's like they have the gimmick, but I don't know what this movie is just a crossover movie.
Yeah.
Like all
I
of
kind
them
of
are
wish
now.
they didn't have this like big bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is what's going on and how do we fix it?
Right. I don't know. It's weird. It's Marvel now, and you're just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
We'll find out in November when it comes out. Long ways away.
Yeah.
It was going to be like
Not too
July, but they pushed it, which I'm kind of glad about. Gives us some space.
It does.
But-
I'm fine not thinking about Marvel for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. That
See
is
you
all
in
of
a
our
few weeks
trailers.
for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yay. All right. Let's get the energy up in here.
Yes.
I'm gonna talk about Mario, and I'm gonna talk fast because I want to get my energy up. I feel like I've been really kind of dull and slow up to this point, much like the Peter Pan and Wendy trailer. And so I'm gonna try and force myself to talk a little louder and more excitedly. That
Let's
way
do it.
we can keep the energy up for
Let's
Mario.
do it, Austin.
Yeah, so
Let's do it.
let's talk about it. So Mario, little guy in a red hat, runs around and he kills turtles and
That's
beats up
Goodbye.
bigger turtles.
Thank you.
So we got a movie about that. It's Chris Pratt. We got Charlie Day. We got Anna Taylor-Joy. We got
Jack Black.
Keegan-Michael
Key.
Seth Rogen. We got Keegan-Michael Key. We got a bunch
Fred
of other
Armisen.
people. Yes.
Charles Martinet.
So many. And they're all voice acting this Illumination animation of Mario. Anthony,
Yes.
what did you think of this film?
I loved this movie.
Oh, wow.
It
Okay.
was so good.
Mhm.
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay. My thoughts. It was all right. Like, I liked it. Fundamentally, I liked it. Okay. But, like, there's super high points, and then there's, like, I wouldn't call them super low points, but there's...
How dare you?
There's problems with this
This
film.
is my Lyle crocodile.
Okay, so be it. At least Lyle was
Or Clifford.
actually perfect. Clifford, I'm not going to talk about Clifford
You
right
cried at Clifford.
now. I did cry at Clifford because it was beautiful. Anyways, okay. This movie it has a lot of really good things going for it and a few things that really hinder it.
That's it.
All right, thank you all for joining. That's another finished episode.
Yes.
Next week
Thank
we're going to
you.
be talking about possibly Dungeon. Okay.
Renfield.
Is Renfield next
Yeah.
week? I don't have the patience for a vampire movie, dude. Okay. I'll deal with that grief later. The first thing that I'll just kind of get into with Mario. Well, let's address the elephant in the room is the voice acting.
Yeah, Charlie Day as Luigi.
Like, at a certain point, you don't notice anymore. And let's talk about Chris Pratt first,
Yeah.
since he's...
Yeah, that was kidding.
Yeah, of course. Charlie Day... Well, none of them... All right. To just kind of set the stage, Jack Black, as expected, steals the show.
He does. He does such an amazing job.
He puts 110% in effort in
Yeah.
everything he does.
But
especially this.
I do want to talk about him later because I have a lot to say.
Yeah,
let's go through the cast.
Yeah. Well, Chris Pratt.
It's
a Mario.
He does a fine job. It wasn't distracting.
It wasn't distracting, and I'll give him that. I think it wasn't full. Like, if you pay attention to it, it fluctuates in and out a bunch.
Oh yeah.
Like there's certain
it
lines
does.
that are just flat, and then there's certain lines where he has the Brooklyn accent, and it's not distracting, and that's the best praise I can give it because it's not bad. It's not particularly bad. It worked for the character, and it fit the.
It wasn't
model.
deserving of all the hate he got before.
I agree, but
I know
can
we
you
were
blame
hesitant.
him? Can you blame
before,
him though? It's Chris Pratt. It's Mario, man. And you
It's
get
a
Chris
me,
Pratt.
a
There's
Mario.
nothing funnier than the Nintendo Direct where they announced it, and it's
He's so cool.
It's Miyamoto sitting with a translator where he's like, "Let's talk about the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Let's announce the cast. Chris Pratt." There's not a bigger bra moment in Nintendo Direct history. And then you get Charlie Day.
My favorite part about Chris Pratt's casting
Mm-hmm.
is that all the memes came out about Chris Pratt just voicing everyone, and then the next week
He was
they
Garfield.
announced the Garfield movie.
I
with him actually being Garfield.
I just don't get it, man.
He's so cool.
He is so cool. He doesn't do a necessarily bad job. He doesn't do like a great job though. And I think that applies besides probably Jack Black. No, Keegan-Michael Key was pretty good.
Keegan-Michael Key, I feel like could have been anyone else.
I agree. It didn't really match Toad, but it was consistent, and was good.
I just think the fact that they up-pitched him and
Yeah.
everything, it felt like it could have been anyone or just a trained voice actor.
Yeah.
Rather than Keegan-Michael Key.
Well,
But it was
that's-
let's get this big name in here.
That's the case with every animation movie nowadays, is that they're hired for the name and the size of the person, and
that is
it's
true.
not a matter
Yeah.
because if there's a lot more good we could do in animation right now if we hired for talent and voice rather than popularity.
Yeah.
And Jack Black was really good.
I
Pratt was all right.
love Charlie Day.
Charlie
as
Day.
Luigi. I think he did do a good job. He just didn't have a lot.
Charlie Day was all right. He didn't really have an accent though. It was just Charlie Day's
I
voice.
was okay with that.
And like,
just because I just wanted Charlie Day as
where do
Luigi
we draw the line?
because he has
you know?
that manic energy about him that Luigi needs.
He does, and I agree with that.
I thought it was a great fit. Yeah, we got Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
Seth Rogen was pretty good. It like mental or like visually, like I don't know.
I think my least favorite is Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong.
Oh, you think so?
He's like, "Hey guys, I'm Cranky Kong."
Cranky Kong's voice was pretty rough. I think Anna Taylor-Joy's also was like.
I liked Anya Taylor-Joy.
I did not like Peach in this movie.
Really?
No.
I thought she was a great character.
She was she was static though. Like
that's fair. She is a static character.
Whenever we get into it, the story, my main problem with this character or this movie is really the story because it just kind of feels flat.
For me, that's fine, just because that's what a Mario game is. They're all flat, but it's just about the fun of it.
This was their chance to flesh that out and to just kind of get into that. I think this movie had a lot of personality.
Should we get into Jack Black before we get into the story, just to round out the characters?
Yeah, we can talk about Jack Black.
Jack Black, like we said, steals the show.
He does.
He when they announced his casting, I knew it was going to be perfect, and I was right. We were all right. He is such a great Bowser. Mm-hmm. He actually does give his character dimensions. Yes. Whereas he's not just this evil guy. He's this evil guy who is in love.
Just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy. You know who said that?
Zangief.
Some Street Fighter character, but you know who he was talking to?
Bowser.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy how it all works around like that.
But no, he was so good and he was so funny, especially because they made him this fearsome dude, but then when it comes to Peach, he is so insecure.
Yeah. And
it's so funny. I told Austin one of my favorite lines was when he was talking about Mario. He's like, "Do princesses find him attractive?" He's not like, "Will he threaten my kingdom or threaten my rule or something? Can he defeat me?" It's just, no, can he steal the girl that I'm in love with?
Exactly. Bowser was a really good time and probably the most enjoyable any character is on screen. And I think that is majorly enhanced by Jack Black, just doing a great job voice acting, great job giving him personality. Jack Black, believe it or not, his dynamic range is phenomenal.
Yes.
And just
he's such a good actor.
He is across the board. It's the only face that I in this cast really that I can't get upset at for seeing as a voice actor from being Hollywood, because he really does just.
For me, it's that and Charlie Day.
Charlie Day could have been a voice actor, and I think it would have been done better, in my opinion. I think he has the manic energy that you were talking about. I think that's nailed, but he didn't even try to do a Brooklyn accent in this movie.
That's fair.
It was just Charlie Day.
He didn't. I was just okay with it.
Yeah. And I think we settled for a lot in this movie. And there's a lot of flaws that once you watch it and think about it, they kind of just show themselves.
Yeah. Oh, I did say I love this movie. This is a very flawed movie. There's a lot of things that could be
Lyle.
improved
I would
on.
never say that about Lyle.
Well, I recognize.
Well, Lyle's
that
not
it
a
may
flawed movie, so I don't really.
Lyle has no flaws.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
this movie has
there's
flaws.
nothing wrong when Lyle was gonna feed
this
his best
movie
friend
is worse than Lyle
to the crocodiles.
If I had to watch a movie right now, if I was dying, I would watch Lyle Crocodile before I died.
If the Super Mario Bros. Movie has 1 million fans, I'm one of them. If the Super Mario Bros. Movie has 1 fan, it's me. If the Super Mario Bros. Movie has no fans, I am dead.
All right, let's get this energy back up and rolling. So let's talk about the personality of this movie, because they do a very, very good job of paying respects to Mario.
Yeah,
and so many just little innuendos and whatnot to the original game.
Maybe not innuendos, maybe Easter eggs.
I guess so. It's only, that word is not an innuendo unless you make it one, which I guess it is now. So, anyways, Easter egg. I don't really call them Easter eggs. They're just kind of they're
references?
Homages to
homages. Yeah,
whatever thesaurus word.
They do have a lot of good homages. Yeah. I really liked it. I was worried at the beginning of the movie before we got to the Mushroom Kingdom especially a scene with a dog. Because
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is just Illumination being Illumination.
Yeah.
And this isn't super working for me. This is just stuff they've done before.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get to the Mushroom Kingdom, and it's like, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Mario.
It's me.
A Mario. Did you see Pedro Pascal do the Mario skit at
Uh,
SNL?
no.
It's so
think so.
funny.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Mhm.
and yeah, we get to the Mushroom Kingdom, and it pays so much respect to Mario,
Mhm.
and it nails the tone,
Mhm.
like right off the bat, especially with the music. The
music
score
is
of this
my
movie
main thing.
is probably one of the highlights.
That's like my main thing. That is my favorite thing about this movie is the music. The soundtrack is on Spotify and other streaming platforms already, and I've already listened to like all of it over again while doing homework. It's
I have to.
so incredibly well done. I want a sequel to this movie just so they do more music. The fact
Spoiler.
I won't
It's not really, but
spoiler about like what music you hear. We don't in the movie we don't get Gusty Gardens until the end credit, like little
right when it
like,
starts.
Yeah. And oh my god, for a full version of an orchestral Gusty Garden done for the movie, I would. Oh my god, all the Super Mario Galaxy music. There's a bunch of Sunshine music we didn't hear. There's millions of Mario pieces that we've not heard, but they still did so much, and they pulled from so much. And it's like there's only one part of the movie that they kind of dropped the ball on, but for the rest of it, like they like even when it wouldn't really make sense in a Hollywood music like setting, they put the like motifs and whatnot in there, and they make it work.
They give you like
well.
little hints of it, and it's done so well because it meshes so well with like the rest of the score, and just hearing the orchestral, like you said, version of this music. It's so just it's awesome to hear.
Yeah. It was like my favorite thing in this movie was watching it and then like either hearing like a little motif and like something clicks and it's like, oh, okay, I recognize that, or seeing something that they do and being like that is really funny because I can relate, like I can remember and relate to that exact gimmick. And there's so much that they did to like pay respect to the games, and I'm sure Nintendo was like just like breathing down Illumination's neck while they made it to make sure it dug into the culture of Mario.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job there. Like even like the whole world they developed even around the Mushroom Kingdom was super well done. Like the plot wasn't there, but everything else like almost everything else was.
For me, the plot just was okay. If they did a sequel and they did the same thing, that's when I would have an issue. But just as a initial Super Mario Brothers movie, it feels like playing the game in the best way possible. And one of my big problems with the movie is not the story, but the pace of the story.
That's fair.
Because, or do you have any more thoughts about the overall narrative?
No.
Okay. Because this movie is very short, and because of that, it moves very quickly. Sometimes it is good. It's like, yeah, let's go to the next thing. But a lot of times, it's like, I just wanted a little more to flesh out this area, or just to have more fun with this or that.
Right.
And this movie, because it does pay homage to so many like Mario products, they go from the classic like 2D platformer style to Smash Bros to Mario Kart to so many other things, but for a lot of it, it just feels like they're rushing to get to the next scene.
That's fair. I do agree. I think at the same time though, it kind of the fact that it doesn't overstay its welcome kind of benefits it. If this movie was like 2 hours or long, I feel like it was the perfect length.
Yeah, I think just 10 more minutes, because like maybe like a few minutes here.
I mean,
like
even then, you brought this up the last time, or I don't know if this was on the podcast or if we just talked recently, but I don't think there's a concrete way. Like you can't just say like a number, and it would be better that way.
That's
like,
fair.
I feel like there has to be like or this isn't like a personal attack on you. But if you were to like What do you think you would put in those 10 minutes that would make it better?
I don't want to say until we get into the spoilers.
Fair enough. Yeah. So that being said, though, I personally didn't have a problem with how long this movie, especially because I got places to be.
I do
got
appreciate
people to
the
meet.
length. Yeah, the length is good. I
Yeah.
just want a little more for a few areas.
That's I don't know. I think. Well, I agree. The pacing was already whack.
But yeah, that's just what I mean. It was paced too quickly in some areas.
Let me think. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say until we get to spoilers for pacing.
Okay, we can set that aside for now. Is there any other main big things you want to talk about this, or do you want to get into spoilers?
Music was my main thing. That and just like the personality of the movie. We can go ahead and get into spoilers now.
Yeah, how would you rate this movie?
I would give this movie like an 83.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I give it an 83. A little low B flat.
Officially, I would say maybe an 80 out of 100.
Gotcha.
In my heart,
yeah,
this is like a 95.
And that's
love.
okay. You can feel that way.
Yeah, because I loved this movie, and I recognize it has its faults, but it nails that feeling of Mario, and especially that third act. It's so well done. I really liked it. I think the Rotten Tomato score.
Oh, okay.
Is
one second. Let me. Yeah, right. Because I'm the host today. Let me go ahead. I had this prepared. All right. So what did you think the critics score was?
I think critics are gonna like it, but not much, because that's how it is for a lot of Illumination stuff. I think it's gonna be 65%.
65.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think audiences are gonna love this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say 95.
Okay. You said for critic score.
Yes.
For the tomato meter, you said 65%.
Yes.
The actual score was 57%.
Okay.
It's not certified fresh.
It's not even fresh.
While it's nowhere near as thrilling as Turtle tipping your way to 128 lives, the Super Mario Bros. Movie is a colorful, albeit thinly plotted animated adventure that has about as many Nintendos as Nintendon'ts. Nintendo's. That wasn't very clear for a
Nintendo's
pun.
and don'ts.
I'm sure that was good. And when they said
We didn't even mention the animation is spectacular.
yeah, Illumination
in this
did step it up
movie.
for this.
They did.
If you've seen the trailer with like the original Bowser introduction, then
Yeah,
like
and
that alone,
like Illumination's movies, they do look really good and like crisp and fresh. But this,
I will say,
it was a huge step up.
this is like probably the peak of 3D animation in terms of just like.
Do you think ever or?
Well, just like probably for now, like just because it's not like there's probably more they could do, but I don't think there's a lot of technical limitations that they probably ran into making this movie. That being said, or that to compare it to the blend of 3D and 2D that's very popular right now with Spider-Verse and Arcane and like everything else we've seen in that kind of style. That I think Spider-Verse is leading the evolution of like, or even the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie or show or trailer.
By the way, cool trailer. But
Yeah. Like even it's just kind of spreading, and I think that art style is going to become the new norm here very soon, where like all the studios are like, we need to start blending it, and that's what they're going to do. So this, I think, is probably the last like main peak of like true or like of like gritty 3D like animation.
I slightly disagree, just because I think there will be new innovations, even if it's small. Like I know. Like, I've seen things for, like, Pixar movies where they're, like, every time we do a new movie, there's something that we, like, hardly ever get that we want to get right, and we do. And so I feel like there will still be new innovations. Like, with Coco is, like, playing the guitar.
Yeah.
And other things. Like, Toy Story 4, there was, like, the dust and other things.
Yeah.
They were showing off with Cranky Kong in this one with the hair.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't have how do I?
What was the
say
audience
this?
score?
The audience score. Thank you. The audience score. You said 95.
Yes.
Do you want to change your answer?
No.
Okay. The audience score is 96.
Ooh.
96%
One off.
with 10,000 plus verified ratings. A lot of people
Okay,
saw
wow.
this movie. It did very well
I
from
think
what I've
this
seen.
is the biggest animated opening ever.
That doesn't surprise me.
Either this or Frozen 2 is. I know it's the
Yeah.
biggest for Illumination. But
The audience does have a little statement underneath underneath the critic consensus. Do you want to know what that one is?
wahoo.
Wahoo!
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, wait. Oh,
That's
I just-
actually it.
I just guessed that. Oh.
No, it's just actually just wahoo. So yeah, that's the Rotten Tomatoes. Thank you all
I'm a genius.
for joining us. We do have some
yes,
spoilers
if
to
you
talk
don't
about.
want to stay for the spoilers, you can follow us at
That's a Wrap NCR
on
Instagram, Twitter,
and YouTube.
We didn't really coordinate that very well. If that's all right.
Next week, we will be reviewing Renfield and maybe D&D.
Hopefully
Who knows?
D&D.
Maybe in 2 weeks.
D&D
'cause
will be
that
the main
week-
one. Renfield will be the side movie.
Well, in 2 weeks, we have Evil Dead or Beau is Afraid.
Oh,
And I don't really
okay.
want to do either of those. So maybe D&D that week. Or D&D
Yeah.
next week, then Renfield.
Right.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Something will happen, and you guys will be informed when you follow and check us out at That's a Wrap NCR on our Instagram,
Yes.
Twitter, and YouTube.
And have you seen this movie? Leave a comment down
Yeah.
below.
I would
Give
love
us
to
a
hear what you
like,
think.
subscribe, follow, rate us.
Literally any amount of interaction means the world to us.
It does.
So
Give us a
That's all.
thumbs down. It's
we
you're
get excited
engaging.
about that too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and start spoilers. Thank you all. See you all next week for those who are leaving. But 5,
4,
3,
2.
1. Okay. So the final act. Let's talk about it.
I liked it.
It's
The superstar. It was so cool.
why did Mario blow up Brooklyn? Look me in the eyes and explain to me why Mario's first decision of what to do with a super bullet bill was to send it through the pipe that he knows leads back to his home.
Yeah, when he did
When
that, I almost went over to him and was like, did he just send that to Brooklyn?
Like,
And then
I figured in that moment that he was gonna like make the bullet bill run into Bowser's continent flying castle thing.
I thought so too.
And I was like, I guess he wouldn't because Peach and all them are up there, but like they can find ways to get them off of that are more exciting than blowing up his hometown. And I can understand at the same time if Nintendo or Illuminate whoever wrote this film wanted like the worlds to merge as to like to be their final like act. And
I do understand that.
I get that. And if it was something out of Mario's control, fine. If Bowser shot the thing and Mario dodged it and accidentally hit the pipe,
But no,
then sure.
he was aiming for it.
he was like, we get a full tracking shot of Mario eyeing down the pipe, and you can see the light bulb going off in his head. And why? It's a giant missile, dude. I don't know what he thought.
What was your
gonna happen.
explanation for Lyle feeding the kid to the crocodiles?
Lyle didn't feed the kid to the crocodiles.
He was going
dude.
to.
No, he wasn't. He was never going to. He didn't intend to.
He didn't intend to blow up Brooklyn.
Listen,
There we go.
this is some sort of logical fallacy where you're trying to shift the blame. But listen,
I'm just trying to gaslight you.
you are. And also, how many people actually died in Brooklyn that day? How many people actually died?
It was a travesty.
Did you see the size of Bowser's castle? That whole thing pops out and lands on Brooklyn, like in New York, real New York. This isn't like a fantasy like world. This is Despicable Me. This is real life.
2 years ago.
I don't know. There is okay.
No,
I
they
am
have to
watching
have that superhero movie shot of evacuate the city.
I am watching an animation about Mario. My suspension of disbelief is gone right now. But like they've established, I also didn't like how long we spent in the real world at the beginning of the film. I feel like that could have been cut way shorter. But they established very, very early that the real world has consequences and acts like a fairly normal world, except for that like Mario's very good at traversing it. Like people get hurt in the real world, and then it's like, ow, but I have a mushroom, so I just go, and that's fine in the Mushroom Kingdom. Everybody's dead. Like this is an Avengers level threat that just appeared in Brooklyn, and it's Mario and Luigi fighting him.
Mario is the Thanos in his own universe.
I don't get it. Like
the thing is, you are not wrong.
I'm not.
Like you're not. But
it just feels so weird, and I get it's epic. The actual fight when they get the
It's
superstar,
amazing. It's
it's like
awesome.
ripped out of like Mob Psycho or any other anime like that, where he's full powered up and
all
they're
the
flying
enemies
around.
at once go to them, and
Yeah,
it's so cool.
it's cool, but so many people died. So many innocent people died.
Yeah, do you think they'll address it in the next one?
Yeah, next movie is gonna be super dark and gritty, and it's gonna be Luigi like being haunted by the
He
ghosts
has PTSD.
of the dead.
That's the Luigi's Mansion movie.
It writes itself. It's widespread.
He's sucking up the ghosts, and then he
like-
finds out it's the victims of the Bowser attack.
Exactly.
And
Like they're gonna like if Super Mario. Never mind. I'm not going
Say
there.
it.
I'm not going there. I will tell you after the show.
I think I have an idea where you were going. For pacing,
mhm.
Rainbow Road is where I thought it was paced a little too quickly.
Yeah, I guess it could have been done. Well, no, I disagree. Actually,
You do?
I was fine with how long Rainbow Road was. That's where, if you like earlier, we mentioned the music kind of dropped the ball. That was there. They didn't really have the any Rainbow Road theme that I noticed. They could have, but it was
They
mostly
didn't.
just
Yeah,
action.
that was his point too. I
Um,
guess maybe not the pacing, because I am thinking about it. It was fairly long.
because there
I
was
guess
like
what they did with it.
there's like 4 or 5 whole moments where Chris Pratt's car gets eaten by the blue shell
Yeah.
guy, and it's like
And I didn't want like I know this is a movie and they have to adapt and change things,
mhm.
but I wanted it to be like Mario Kart, not this like big hulking
It was Mad Max.
like it was like Mad Max.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
and
even then they do pay like homage to Mario Kart and itself. Well, they already do like so much for Mario Kart in the
he
first place.
basically
with
takes
the,
a Rainbow
with the
Road
carts.
shortcut.
And the shortcut
I love
love.
that. I love that too. But I just wanted a little more of it, and I wanted for the blue shell, I wanted to be a like full on threat where they are trying desperately to get away from it, and then they don't, because that's how it
Is
feels
that not
in the
what
game.
they did?
No, because he's like, blue shell activate, and then he immediately blows them up.
I guess.
Like there's no like chase or anything. It was
the
just
whole scene was the chase. It was thematically the blue shell
That's
chasing him
fair.
down to first place because he's in there.
yeah, but I wanted it to be an actual blue shell, not the blue shell Koopa.
Well,
in
blue
this-
shells immediately catch up to you in Mario Kart, unless you're like 200cc and you're goated at the game.
Well, no, because you get the warning of the blue shell, and then like you
Mhm.
you still keep going, and then it goes around you.
Well, then I don't think it would have been as imposing though. If it like you get the warning, but then it's like, well, if that happened, I would not believe Mario had a way out. When it was in the Mad Max scene, I'm sure I was like, Mario's gonna figure something out to get out of this
Okay.
situation. It wasn't until like he's like limping out of the rubble, and he's like, the blue shell activate, and then he does it. It's like, oh, that's the like, oh my god moment.
That's fair.
That's the way I interpreted it.
I see what you mean. Agree to disagree then.
Okay.
What I love though,
Mhm.
Speak of animation, when Mario and the Donk were
Okay.
Donkey Kong
Didn't
is too long
expect that,
to
but
say.
sure.
Were in the water
Mm-hmm.
and like the rainbow road above them. That looked so pretty.
Yeah.
It was
did.
so pretty. Peaches.
Beaches.
Peaches.
Beaches.
I don't want to sing it just for like copyright.
Oh well,
But-
of course. We don't want to get a
I
flag
really want to sing it.
on our famously monetized
Of course.
channel.
Give us money. It was so good.
It was good.
Jack Black.
Jack Black.
I'm mad that Mario never got the fire flower. I know it was for a reason and stuff, but it was like it's his iconic power.
Yeah.
And he only grew and shrunk. I do love how they incorporate the blue mushroom, because I love that power up.
Yeah, that was. I do agree. There's like, they clearly knew what they were doing.
Or I guess power down.
And there's a lot more that they could do, but I think if they packed more in, it would have made it worse.
Yeah, no, I
So,
do agree.
I think
I know they didn't give it to us to be like, hey, like wait for the next one
Right.
and stuff, but they still gave us the cat suit, the Tanuki suit. We still got enough where I'm not disappointed.
I didn't get
but I'm like,
Drill Mario
ooh.
from Super Mario Galaxy. Like,
What
come
about
on.
B Mario?
Or Spring Mario. I need to replay Super Mario Galaxy. It's been too
so
long.
good.
Man, all right. Well, that's all I got. Do you got anything else you want to talk about?
That's all I got.
Okay. Well, we already kind of announced what we're going to be doing next week. Kind of just keep an eye on us at That's Rap NCR on Instagram.
Twitter, YouTube.
Yeah. So thank you all very much for watching. And until next time.
That's a wrap.